Welcome back to World Crisis Radio, Webster, Tarpley, Washington, D.C. Now, a couple of notes on the European austerity wars. The reactionary, Tory, conservative government of Great Britain with Cameron and the lamentable Clegg is now under attack because their lunatic plan to triple the tuition and fees to attend a British university from, I think, £4,000 to £12,000. And this simply means that the working class is shut out. Oxford and Cambridge go back to what they were, the preserve of aristocrats, the nobility, the big bourgeoisie, what have you, but the middle class is going to have a very hard time, and for the workers and the poor, forget it. So it is class war by plutocrats. That's what we see here in the United States as well. But over there are some people who realize that they are the victims, the target of such class war. There's no other way to describe it. So Cameron, of course, reactionary Tory. Clegg was the guy who promised that he would abolish these fees to attend Oxford, Cambridge, the red brick provincial universities, University of London, and all the rest of it. So Clegg is now the big traitor. It actually confirms the tradition of the Liberal Democratic Party going back to Lloyd George, right? The Liberal Party were the ones, after all, who basically pushed the British into World War I and kept them there, and it came out destroyed, never recovered after World War I, nor did it deserve to. Notice also, this is your future. If people from the lower income brackets are going to be denied higher education, that is exactly what the reactionary Charles Murray is working on over at the American Enterprise Institute. And it may be the Republicans bring this forward. They're also Watergating the Strayer University, the University of Phoenix, and all the rest of them. These are not ideal institutions, but they do provide a way for people to get a college degree and some college credit. The future under these reactionaries, under the cokeheads, the coke fiends, the Schultz, Rupert Murdoch faction of the U.S. ruling class, is that 95% of the people who presently go to college will not, because the oligarchs don't want to be taxed for this. They don't want to pay. It's going to be an oligarchical privilege, only elitists, only aristocrats, only the upper class. It means, therefore, that the possibility of social upward mobility becomes even more constricted than the wretched level we see now. The social mobility in the United States has been falling ever since the New Deal ran out of steam in the 1960s, and now they're going to positively take this to absurd lengths. Now, it's nice to see these protests. It's nice to see Britain wake up. On the other hand, it's very nice to see probably the first action against the royal family in quite a while, right? With Charles and Camilla in the limousine with a bunch of anarchists smashing their windows and hitting their limousine with paint. I'm sure the Queen is very vexed, and she'll probably try to find a way not to pay for the damages herself. She wants the insurance companies to pay, I'm sure, rich as she is. So also, they were chanting, "Off with their heads, off with their heads." Now, the last time that was done was King Charles I back in the 1640s. So it's very, very interesting. On the other hand, as amusing and entertaining and encouraging, fundamentally, as it is to see people fighting, this ultimately leads to nothing. When they interview these kids, what is it that you demand? Well, we shouldn't have to pay for this. What's your program? How do you propose to organize it, if not this way? We've just gone through it. No cutting, no gutting. Tax Wall Street. Tax the City of London. No cutting, no gutting. Tax the City of London. Robin Hood tax. In the U.S., it's the fraud closures that are very big. Over there, it would be seize the Bank of England, issue £2 trillion, and begin rebuilding the country, begin rebuilding the rail system, the energy system, the water system. Some of these are left over from the era of Dickens and Scrooge that we're going to be seeing so much of in the coming weeks with the Christmas Carol on television all the time. Some of this stuff has been around since the age of Scrooge. So it's time to rebuild Britain. A country like this has got to have a space program. A country like this has got to use the tradition of very strong biomedical research. Remember, Watson and Crick, the genome, this comes out of British laboratories to a significant degree. They had a big role in the genome project back in 2000 and in the years leading up to that. And there's also the question of high-energy physics, right? These British laboratories have a worthwhile tradition. It's a tremendous asset for humanity. We cannot allow Cameron and Clegg to take that down. Hitler didn't succeed. Why should Cameron and Clegg? Now, changing gears, the WikiLeaks. I'm happy to say this past week, on the 7th of December, there was a wire by ANSA, the national Italian news agency, which is now available on a couple of hundred websites, which is an interview with me, and I say that Julian Assange and WikiLeaks are a striptease by the CIA. That is, they are a self-exposure. They are a limited hangout, I guess we can say. And the targeting of people like Berlusconi and Putin is absolutely lawful. It is absolutely targeted because this is the big strategic challenge in the critical Eurasian area. The strategic alliance between Russia and Italy is the target, the South Stream pipeline, and everything else. Now, there's a tremendous campaign over there to overthrow Berlusconi, to bring him down as early as this month. We've just had the neo-fascist, and this is not made up, this is officially a neo-fascist by the name of Fini. He is the right-wing defector from the Berlusconi government, and he's just been over here in Washington getting his orders, getting his marching orders and his instructions on how to overthrow the Italian government, right? This used to be the specialty of Ugo Lamalfa way back when, right? The killer of Italian governments. But now maybe Fini wants to get that role. The other side of it is you see that this thing that WikiLeaks released, the nodal strategic points around the world, which could really damage the U.S. strategic position. Putting this out like an engraved invitation. Please bring on the Espionage Act of 1917. Remember the last time we had a Wall Street puppet, pedantic professor in the White House? It was, at least on the Democratic side, it was Woodrow Wilson. The Espionage Act of 1917, if you said, I like beer, you could be thrown in jail as a German sympathizer, and thousands were. So that's where WikiLeaks is taking us. Don't follow it. Denounce it. Assange is a zombie from the world of MK Ultra. We want no part of it. We will be back in a minute, though.